Hello, this is Mike with Miller Marine Products, and I'm shooting a video today showing how my Downrigger Mount is assembled and also installed onto your rail. So I have pre-assembled some of the parts on here already just to speed up the video a little bit. 8 of the bolts are done the same way, and so it's kind of redundant. I don't think you want to watch me put 8 bolts together. So I'm going to do one. You'll do the same thing for the other 7. So in your kit, you're going to have all these bolts and a couple hand knobs, and you're going to have 2 different size bolts. You're going to have these 1 1/4 long bolts, and you're going to have some either 3/4 or 1 inch bolts, depending on what I put in the package. And so to start with, we're going to take the 1 inch bolt or 3/4, whatever you get, and we're going to take a split ring lock washer and put it against the head of the bolt, just like this. We're going to install a flat washer on next. And then the important detail is this little split ring, or this little star washer here. So you push the bolt through the bracket and then put the star washer on. The detail that we want to get correct is that the star washer goes between the main bracket and the mount bracket. So that goes in there like that, and that star washer is going to fit between these 2 pieces. What it does is it bites into the aluminum once it's adjusted, so that it makes it harder for these bars to want to slip. And so right now I'm just going to run all these down close. You don't want to tighten them up. All this needs to be loose so it slides around and you can adjust it. Okay, so now the other detail, I've already installed one of them, but I'm going to show you how to do the other one. So we're going to take the 1 1/4 bolt and we're going to put a flat washer on it. And then your rubber pad here has a recessed side and a flat side. From the recessed side, you're going to push that bolt through that hole like that. And then we're going to put a fender washer on it. And then these thin jam nuts, we're going to put those on next. One of them on. And I'm going to tighten that down. So there, that's tightened up. Then we're going to put another nut on. And we got one more flat washer to put on. I don't like to just run a nut up against an anodized surface because it's going to mess up the anodizing. Now, important to note here, depending on how deep your gunnel is, there are 2 positions for this rubber pad. So this first one here is at about, I don't know, 3 inches or so. And you could use this position. Or if you've got wider gunnels, go ahead and use the outside position, which is this one here, the same one I have the other one installed in. So I run that down until the bolt head's about flush with the outside, and then I'm going to lock this lock nut down. There, that's installed. We're done with that. So now we're ready to put this onto our rail system, and I've got a display here that we're going to use to do that with. And so let's do that. I'm going to get rid of this box I was working on. And we'll slide this display over to about here. You'll see I have my rail system installed on here. And so what you'll do, and then I've got a flat piece on here for this to rest on. So what we're going to do is take this top dovetail bar with the 4 bolts in it, and it's going to slide down and mesh in with our rail system, okay? So just like that. And we want this to be fairly level across here. I would say that looks pretty decent. I don't know. Let's see here. I want the rubber feet down solid. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten this top set with it meshed down into the installed rail on the boat. So the top of it is pushed down there like that, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten those 4 bolts up first. So this is a little awkward for me. I'm working from the opposite side I would normally be working from, but I want you guys to be able to see, and so that's why I'm doing it this way. There we go. Okay, so now the next step in this is to take the 2 hand knobs, and they're connected to another dovetail bar, and that dovetail bar meshes with the bottom of your installed rail. So make sure you got it in there good. and then tighten those up. Okay, and that's just a hand tight. Now we take this bottom bar, and it's actually what locks it into place. So the center bar with the hand knobs is more of a spacer. So now we're going to tighten these up, because you wouldn't be able to tighten up the bar tight enough by hand to get it to not slide, and that's why we have the star washers in there, and that's why we have bolts on here that we can cinch down. Okay. That's tight. There we go. So we're tight now. So that's it. It's installed. Now, you're always going to have a little bit of play like this. That's normal. Your downrigger, once it's on here, it's going to be pushing out this way, and it's all solid. Nothing's coming off of here. But in order to make it so you can go on and off real easy, that's the way that's designed. So now when I want to remove this, I don't touch any of these bolts. I just take off these two hand knobs. Remove those and push that bar out from the side. This whole thing lifts off. Okay? So now you can come up anywhere in the middle of the rail, and you could set that back on without sliding off from one end or the other. That's the reason why I don't use the regular rod holder blocks, is because you'd have to slide it off one end or the other. So now, in order to put this back on, take the flat side of this dovetail bar with the two threaded holes, and it just slides back in here between there and fills up that slot again. And these knobs, you could probably get by with one of them, but the knobs simply hold that from sliding out, so it can't fall out once the knob is put back in there. There we go. So that's all it takes to install and remove this. Now, these two slots here, they are for the spacing for the bolt hole pattern of a rod holder block. So if you had a different boat, I know Crestliner, I've sold some of these to people with Crestliner boats, they'll use their rod mount and use this mount. So that's the reason on the website why this quick release mount's not included with the bracket, because some people don't need it if they've got a different type rail system, or you may choose that you want to use one of these blocks. If you're using my crab davit setup, I recommend using this block just because there's just no way for this to come apart. So that's how the downrigger bracket works. There is a crab davit mount that goes on top of here. This thing's been drilled for many different downrigger brackets like Scotty and Cannon, and if you've got something different than that, you can send me your bolt hole pattern. I'll let you know whether it's on here or not. And man, I don't know what else to say other than all these parts are anodized, all the hardware stainless steel. If you're going to be running this in salt water, I would suggest that each one of these fasteners that you use some sort of an inhibitor, marine grade inhibitor, so that you don't end up with corrosion on all these fittings. So other than that, that's it for now, and thanks for watching.